Hotcakes, I feel like idols should really be allowed to date whoever they want and like, as long as their partner accepts and respects their boundaries and they do the same, it's perfectly fine. Us hating idols on stuff that's low-key human is disgusting. The whole K-pop industry needs a cleanse. Being a fan of yours for a long, but I barely interact as a minor. Fair enough, thank you for being a fan of the channel. But yeah, it should be normalized, like for K-pop idols to date. Like, oh yeah, there's new photos circulating of Jungkook holding hands with a girl. A 28-year-old man who sings about love is holding hands with a female. But that's my junk. Like, no, chill out, alright? They can date whoever they want. Like, bring back the shows like We Got Married, and like bring back idols doing collab stages where it's okay for them to dance. Like when 17 and Twice did a dance together. Like they danced to Who's Your Mama by JYP together. That was iconic. The Vernon and Jonghyun fan cam, if you know, you know. Confession time. I think people take themselves way too seriously in the K-pop sphere. I've been in the K-pop community sphere since I was like 11 to 12 in 2014. We're around the same age. I was bullied as a kid, so yeah, getting involved with an initially welcoming community with pretty girls and boys with outlandish makeup and unforgettable concepts drew me in. However, with fans, you also have fandom wars. We used to get serious. Streaming, doing the math with the charts and votes, collaborating, listening parties, organizing hype-up posts on Twitter, and simultaneously maintaining academics at the time was way too stressful for the 12 to 15-year-old me. I was barely sleeping 3 to 4 hours a day, oh my gosh, and I had to prepare for an entrance exam, one of the toughest exams in our country and worldwide. Yeah, you should say. I simultaneously started dedicating less time in the fandom spaces and more time studying for the entrance exam for the 2 years when I was 15 to 17. Good job, and my life changed. I felt less anxious even though I had a life-determining exam ahead of me. Yes, that was stressful as well, but I was studying every day. A feeling of not internalizing the hate towards artists I stand and fighting internet strangers felt refreshing. I cracked the entrance and got into a great college. However, after that, in first and second year, I fell back into the rabbit hole. I realized how a lot of my issues returned. The constant fights, the idea that this person is superior, that person is inferior, being distrusted in fandom spaces because I was a multi-stan started affecting me deeply. I did have friends in real life, but I was isolating myself from them. I would say no to hanging out because I had to stream a comeback or do yada yada, what on earth? Then in 2022, came to realize I'm essentially destroying my life. I also started listening to more indie, bedroom pop, and started concentrating on my academics again. The world didn't change. The K-pop space didn't change. K-pop artists and companies literally don't care whether you personally exist or not, as far as you're still one of the numbers in their streams, sales, etc. I still casually listen to K-pop now. I don't usually participate in discourse. As a working adult now, I realize that even though the younger fans' contributions matter the least because they're not the ones buying merch or going to concerts, but they're essentially keeping the talks and fandom alive. However, unmonitored internet access is both a boon and a bane. I've never heard of a boon, but okay. Some people regulate the internet usage better. I think I was terrible at it as a teen. So was I. Seeing comments like, here, but I have a math exam tomorrow, I'm literally here 24/7, etc. Though most probably is an exaggeration, yet there's an underlying concerning behavior underneath that. Also, though I never developed a deep parasocial relationship with any idol, I do have to agree I was into some light-hearted same-sex shipping, perhaps because I'm a lesbian myself, and as a kid I low-key hoped my faves were secretly queer, but never to the extent to claim that this person is for sure with this person. This ship is so true. I believe in love because of XY being together. It's really weird because shippers can sometimes be quite homophobic themselves. I have a memory of being 16 and in a Taekook Twitter AU, oh gosh, space, reading some random fic. I think Jimin was the second male lead, the potential love interest for Jungkook. The amount of vitriol against Jimin the person because the author chose to make Jimin the character a little piece of shit was astounding. It felt so off to me because I used to read Jikook, Vmin, Yoonkook, etc. and just generally enjoyed reading anything gay. Fair enough. Things like those disillusioned me further, and maybe I just grew up, I suppose. I still do listen to K-pop, but not every day. It's easier for me to admit that I can both like and dislike songs from the same comeback, and I don't necessarily need to like every single track put forward by the groups I follow. I know this is mostly a nothing burger, but just letting it out even though it gets lost was cathartic for me. Yeah, let it all out. We all have certain periods or certain times where we were just like a crazy, super obsessed fan. I feel like I was kind of like that when I was, I'd say, 15, 16, when I tried to get all of my friends into K-pop, into the things I liked. And it was also kind of annoying. And I was known at school as the K-pop guy, which was interesting. But I've never gone to this extent. And like, yeah, the reason why I make content is to prevent this from happening. I always tell K-pop fans to be like, hey, just know that you're a fan of them. You're not really like their friend. You don't know them personally. You don't know their personal lives. Don't be too overly into it. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I've met people like this. I know there are people that have done this, but yeah, just to let you know, your education, your personal life, your work life is more important than making sure your favorite group gets the same amount of streams, like a good amount of streams. It's okay, and it's actually important that you focus on what's going on in your life than to simply just press play on Spotify. Okay? Just keep that in mind. I love your channel. Thank you very much. Your opinions are: people are too sensitive when it comes to everything. Whenever idols do like offensive stuff, stans will jump over leaps and bounds to defend their idols. They come to people who feel offended and keep repeating, oh, it's not that deep and stuff, while refusing to try and understand their viewpoints. Main example is the case of life situation. From my standpoint as a black girl, I obviously found it distasteful and distanced myself from the group. I was never heavily into them, just a casual listener, so it wasn't that hard. I honestly still wish the best for the girls though. I hope they learn from it. Yeah, exactly. What they did was bad. It wasn't good. It was distasteful. But it's just time for them to learn and to move on. It's time for us to move on. We shouldn't drag it and keep on going and going. We should move on from it. The reason a lot of locals are overly critical of K-pop is the collective fandom. Again and again, people that could have become fans are afraid to because of the negative reputation we carry. Absolutely. I remember when I told one of my co-workers, saying that, oh, I'm upset because BTS said they're going on hiatus, and then they're like, oh, you're a BTS stan, oh my gosh, I thought you were chill. And yeah, there's a whole consensus that, you know, K-pop stans aren't the best, and on the internet we're not. But the thing is, 90% of K-pop stans, they're chill. It's just that 10% that you see on the internet that are just really annoying and get on your nerves. And you're probably like, but that 10% is like millions of people. I'm like, yeah, that's how big K-pop is. Most of us are chill, just listening to it on Spotify, and some of us, you know, make TikToks about it. But, you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, for example, I didn't want to be publicly known as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, because I got into Philadelphia Eagles because of Abbott Elementary, and I found out there was an Aussie player, Mylada, shout out to him, I love that. And then I got excited for when they were in the Super Bowl, and then when people suddenly found out I was a Phillies fan, I was like, oh, so you're a Glory Hunter. It's like, nah, it's because of Abbott Elementary, Mylada, like let it be. So like, it's that type of vibe, since like, yeah. Like, just because you like K-pop doesn't automatically make you a deranged parasocial lunatic. So, it's okay to like K-pop. K-pop isn't a genre, it's a blanket term. I can elaborate on a comment or something. I've been writing for 30 minutes, I'm tired. Okay, Mills, fair enough. Like, you wrote a paragraph in 30 minutes. That's... I wonder how you do in your exams, I'm joking. But, like, it's, like, K-pop is seen as a genre, but, like, is K-pop the same way as we've seen Latin pop and Afro beats? Like, is it a genre or is it a blanket term? There's a lot of ways to put it. Like, yes, there's pop, but there's also different versions of pop. There's like indie pop, rock pop, and all that. And with K-pop, there's R&B K-pop, indie K-pop, and all that. So it's like genres and subgenres. It's hard to explain. I'm not an expert on it, but like, I understand where they're coming from. I think some evils need to realize that not everything is the same for the X-Lab members as it is for international, mostly Western audiences. I've seen a lot of people talking about X-Lab's gender, pronouns, and sexuality, and I don't think they realize that X-Lab is not Western, and the importance of these types of things over here might not be the same over there, because I've seen so many people talking about their pronouns, and I think it's a little bit of a dumb conversation, because first of all, it doesn't matter, and second of all, pronouns aren't really a thing in the Korean language. I'm currently learning Korean, and I've realized that in Korean, you don't use pronouns. You either call the person by name or just alluded to the person in the conversation. Another thing is, I don't know if conservative would be the right word, but Korea as a country has some pretty conservative ideals about certain topics, including gay and trans rights, and given that X-Lab are idols rookies at that, it would be risky and even dangerous for them to say anything other than a stereotypical answer for questions about their gender identities and sexualities. Also, it is no one's business to even ask about these things, which are very personal, and these idols are just people who have who have a whole outside of the screen you see them on. Like, yes, I understand X-Love, they give off a certain vibe, they seem like the type of people to have a certain sexuality and certain pronouns. I get it, but no matter how big the boom, you never assume. Like, let X-Love be who they are. They make great music, they're great performers, and that's the same with every other K-pop idol. Like, yes, I know I've made a few, like admittedly jokes here and there, being like, oh, if you like this K-pop group, you're most likely lesbian. If you like this K-pop group, you most likely assume that they're gay. And, like, it's okay to be like, oh, okay, I can see them being that. I can see them being that sexuality, but don't fully label them and box them into that whole vibe. Okay, like, yeah, you might have some, like, immediate assumptions. I will admit, when I see X-Love, I do have assumptions, but I'm not like, that's definitely them. They're definitely like that. I'm just like, I can see it, you know? And, like, listen, I'm a human. I judge, but I never box people into one certain thing and know for sure that they're like that, you know? And I would never do that for any other K-pop idol, and you shouldn't either. Okay, so this may be a bit long because I have been to 9 concerts, 10 soon because I'm going to 17 in October, and just say I have had many interactions with K-pop fans, both good and bad. Let's get into it then. When I attended a K-pop event in Japan, so earlier this year, I attended the Golden Disc Awards as I took a trip to Japan for my birthday. The performances themselves were amazing, my personal favorites being 17. I loved how they basically turned an award show into a concert, lol. However, I was not prepared for the amount of racism I got. I'm a tall, brown-haired, pale, white Mexican 20-year-old, so honestly I think this really shows how literally anyone could receive racist remarks and treatment, because I feel like people tend to think racism only exists towards people of color. Me and my sister got into the venue and our tickets were in Japanese, so we couldn't really understand anything on it, so we asked a staff member for help. I even translated what I wanted to ask, however we were dismissed and were given a dirty look before the staff member continued talking with someone else. So me and my sister tried translating the ticket itself, and lucky that helped, so we went to where the seats are. So me and my sister tried translating the ticket itself, and lucky that helped, so we went to where our seats were. When we got there, some girls came up to us and told us that we must have gotten the wrong seats because those were their seats. Me and my sister apologized and asked if they knew were actual seats because they spoke English. They were very kind and helpful, so we reached our actual seats, and I know they're actual seats because the girls literally showed us where they were and made sure we found them. Divas for real. So fast forward, the show's about to start, and these two girls, not the ones who helped us but different ones, came up to us kind of snickering and stuff. They told us in broken English those were their seats. Even though I knew it was bullshit, I couldn't speak Japanese, and honestly I had just given up, so me and my sister reluctantly got up and they sat in our seats giggling, looking at us. So the show starts. Me and my sister are just trying to find some empty seats in the back of the section, even though the seats we had were in the front of the section. When we finally found 3 seats, we sat down, and at this point NCT Wish was already performing. To make matters worse, my sister can actually understand some Japanese, she just can't speak it. So she told me the girls had told them, Americans are so dumb, haha, we just got upgraded without even trying, haha. Did you see that one girl's hair? So messy. Also the other one, so much acting. I guess Americans really can't take care of themselves. Ha ha. Hearing this made me so effing mad, excuse my French, but I get rage baited every single time I remind myself of the story. Now at this point, I'm just trying to make the best of this, but the lady next to me just had to make it worse. Now I know in Asian concert culture, you're not supposed to stand up and you're supposed to follow fan chants and shit, so I was just there waving my light stick, singing along quietly, and for some reason the girl next to me couldn't take that, so she shushes me. I ended up just being quiet for the rest of it, literally just waving my light stick, but during in-house segment, the girl next to me was trying to film some 4K fan cam, and my light stick accidentally got in the way of a fan cam because we were at an angle. The girl smacks my arm, and not lightly. She even nudged me rudely. I actually wanted to cry. Also, I'm pretty sure that woman was a freak because her lock screen was a effing deepfake of Jungwon, and her home screen was an edited picture of her with Jungwon. Mind you, this woman was easily in her 40s. So yeah, love the performance, everyone who performed Aid, but I would definitely not be going to an event in Japan again. Yeah, racism is everywhere, and I will say in Asia, as an Asian myself, there tends to be a lot of racist Asians, and like they don't like how, you know, a lot of Asians are very territorial about their countries, especially Japan nowadays, because the amount of tourism. A lot of Japan want to close down tourism because of how tourists treat Japan and all that. So yeah, it's not good, and like the fact that those girls try to abuse their, I guess, privilege or like knowledge, be like, oh, we actually know Japanese, so those are actually our seats. Like that's just annoying. Like yeah, just if that happens next time, just be like, oh no, we made sure that this is our seats, and like you know, if you can't understand each other, it's like, this is our seats, please let us be, and all that. And it is what it is. But yeah, certain places, you know, if you don't look like a certain way, then they're going to treat you badly, and it's just upsetting that happened. I was judged, and I don't even know what to call it, at an 80s concert. So I recently went to 80s in Your Fantasy tour in Tacoma. Me and my sister, I go to every concert with her at this point, went dressed as a lemon and a tequila bottle for the song Lemon Drop. We were literally on the Tacoma Dome Insta. Everyone loved it, and overall I met so many amazing 18s, and the 80s performance was amazing. Of course, they're generally so talented. I passed out little freebies and it was super fun, but there was sadly one 18 who did not pass the vibe check. We got online for general admission, and the girl in front of us turned around and kind of gave us a nasty look. I could tell she was really into fashion, because she would compliment people who were dressed like it was fashion week, and which is something I love about K-pop concerts, by the way. All the fans dress and are absolute baddies, so I totally understood why she'd go and compliment them. So anyways, I thought she'd be a really nice 18-y. However, after she gave us that nasty look, she asked us quite rudely, is there a reason? Now, I was taken aback, because like, girl, what did I do? I literally just got in line. And two, surprised because Lemon Drop came out very recently, and it's not like it's a song from the depths of the discography. I feel like every 18 would know it, but I didn't judge. I was just surprised she didn't understand. I responded nicely though, explaining it was a Lemon Drop reference, and she was like, oh, and then turned around to her friend, where she whispered to her friend, people try too hard, don't they know they look ridiculous? 80s would never want them. They're too hungry for attention. They're never gonna get. Like, huh? Like, I know I look absolutely ridiculous. That's the point. I love dressing up in stupid costumes for costumes. I literally went dressed as a schizo for Stray Kids. I went, and I'm going as a carrot for 17. I went dressed as a fruit to see Enha, and I went dressed as Cinderella to the TXT concert. It's not new. Second, I don't go as these things to get noticed. I go because I think it's fun. And like, I never thought I had a chance with the 80s, thank you. I didn't let that moment bother me though, because literally not even 5 minutes after, someone came up and loved my outfit. Plus, San and Mingy noticed me. Oh, that's a plus. That's amazing. If they notice you, you won. But yeah, just have fun at concerts. And if it's like dressing up, that's cool. That's fun. Like, look at sports events. There's so many people dressing up as a mascot and all that. Why can concerts be any different? Like, yes, oh, it's a fashion show. You need to look like a baddie to make sure that your idol sees you, and then like, oh my gosh, they want to date you. It's weird. I remember back in the day when I was like, oh my gosh, 11, 12 years old, and I had classmates like tell me, we were 11 and 12, tell me they shaved their punanis. I'm going to say the nice way. Shaved their punanis because they thought they would get picked up in one direction. And we were 11 and 12. And we went to a Catholic primary school. So that was an interesting time. There's just so many fans that think, you know, you need to dress to impress, to make sure your idol can, you know, can see what they can deal with for the night. When really, they just had a concert. They just worked their asses off. They probably just want to go back to the hotel room, eat a bunch of food, drink a bunch of drinks, and have a good night. That would be me as an idol or performer. Be like, oh, that's such a great performance, but I just sweat so much. I need some food. I need some drinks. That's what's probably on idols' minds. They just savor the moment. They're not like, at least most of the time, they're not like, who can I have tonight? They're not like that. Alright, just have fun. the fact that you dress up for concerts, I think like you're a really cool person. That's really dope. I love people like that go to concerts, sporting events, gaming events, any events. They fully dress up. They're cool. Some of my things were that I was pushed and yelled at for being too loud at the Idol concert and was hit with an image picket and the Stray Kids concert, and instead of apologizing they told me, "You move, bitch, so Hyunjin can see me." I've come across some very Karibu cringy K-pop fans, but then again that's very common. Any gays? My rant is over. Sorry for making you read all that. Love the content, Eldrick, and you're Loki. My hear me out. Any please, but what? That's one way to end it. But thank you. Wait, how old are you again? No, okay, I thought, yeah, no, the last confession was she was like 11 and 12 in 2014. Okay, calling me or hear me out is insane work. But thank you for liking loving my content. That's what I'll thank you for. But yeah, like, okay, being too loud at a concert. Here's my take, hot take. There are certain moments where you are allowed to be too loud and you're not allowed to be too loud. If they're performing an epic song and all that and it's all bumping, go full Goku, go full Dragon Ball, let it all out. If they're singing like a ballad or something, or it's time when the idols are giving a speech, shut up. Okay, if they reach a high note in the ballad, go like, oh yes, woo, woo, woo. But then if they're giving the speech, oh yeah, I'm so thankful for today, this is all amazing, I love you, Hyunjin. Shush, let him speak, let him be. Okay, he's trying to give a heartfelt thing, and yes, sometimes saying like, oh yes, I love you, it might be nice at certain times, but like in the middle of speaking, trying to be all heartfelt and sentimental, shut up. That is my opinion. The hate towards Nicki is so forced. Like, what do you mean my man got hated for blowing candles? I'm pretty sure, like new gen idols, they could click in a way. If they click on the keyboard, like, people are gonna be like, why did they tap it like that? Like, it's just a keyboard. Let them be. My gosh. Let them be. The amount of baby/immature and toxic blinks are more than the rest of the fandom, due to which the entire fandom gets targeted. I'm saying this as a fellow blink. Every group is good in their own way, and so are their idols. Not everything is about Blackpink. There's so many blinks that think Blackpink are goddesses. They are angels. They are everything in this world. They invented South Korea. They invented K-pop. No, they didn't. They're not they're not that like hierarchy type shit. They're not like what demigod type of people. They're just talented, great performers, and they are very successful. Okay, Blackpink did not invent K-pop or South Korea. Okay, BTS did. I'm joking. JYP low-key sucks at marketing, especially with girl set, because like they have so much potential. I would say JYP, they either have the best marketing in the K-pop industry, or they didn't take a class of marketing at all. Because like with Stray Kids and Twice and Prime Wonder Girls, the marketing's off the charts. They lock in. And then with like ITZY, Extraordinary Heroes, Girl Set, Boy Story, Nizzy U, like it's kind of awkward. It's kind of awkward because it's like you can do this with with Stray Kids and Twice, and then you kind of just be like, oh yeah, and we have these groups. But JYP caterers, that was fun. That was fun. TXT deserves way more recognition. They're seriously so talented. Yes, 100%. I wouldn't say they are underrated. They are underappreciated. And the Hot Ones video is hilarious. Bum you really went through it. Even though he tried not to, he went through it. Just a genuine question. Where do you get the K-pop filters from for thing? Like Meta Mystery. Okay, so where do I get the filters? It's on TikTok. If you click on one of my Meta Mystery videos, you'll see the filter there. Just tap on it and you can select certain pictures. Yes, K-pop Meta Mystery exposed. Sometimes I choose certain pictures, but in the order that it comes, it's completely random. Okay, but like I can choose certain pictures, so I try to pick certain idols where it will at least make sense. Or sometimes I just do it for whole shock value. And yeah, and it was a really great series that I did. But then it slowly died down. Like when I stopped doing it, people are like, oh no, post more. And then when I do post more, nobody watches it anymore. So I don't know. I understand it's what kind of put me on the mini map, but not many people watch it anymore. I might try to post it more consistently again, but we'll see. Trigger warning, this is a very depressing confession, so please keep that in mind, and you have been warned. So if this might be a sensitive topic, then please skip this one. If not, then please read this with caution. This was a few months ago. I was depressed. I haven't talked to anyone or anything about it, but I was going back and forth on the line of morality. My morality. I don't know if your confessions can be that graphic, but I did try. I was convinced I had to, so every day was a battle. I had set a date, but I always did careless stuff every day. In those days, I started watching BTS content again. It was actually the only thing holding me back. Every day, every hour, I had either run BTS, music videos, reactions, or Bon Voyage playing on my laptop. If a single second the voices stopped, my own voice would take over in my head, and it was unbearable. So in short, I failed, and I don't know how to feel about that. Because I tried at home, but my family is still blind enough that they had no idea. I was in the same floor as them. I had a streak of puke stretching 2 rooms. I cleaned it up on my own. Stayed relatively all day in the bathroom, went out to buy groceries, and slept anytime I could. It felt like a wake-up call that no one really cared. I still haven't magically started working on my life. It's still hell, and I am usually unresponsive about anything to do with reality. But I'm still not taken seriously. I guess they would have even made up a different story even if I wasn't here today. People usually think my parents are the problem for my deteriorating grades, but it's not. My parents have hope in me for some reason, and so does everyone. They don't understand that I have no hope for myself, and I do love my family because they weren't the cause of this. It was someone else. A select few, to be precise. It's funny, I have had this behavior since back in 2019. I used to be a stellar student back in the day. I had good grades, no best friends, but a friend circle nonetheless. But then things changed after an incident. I find it extremely funny when some teachers ask me to bring my old workaholic self back. I still find it funny. I gave them a lot, but they still couldn't separate me as a person from me as a scapegoat for more responsibilities. Still listening to BTS though, I feel thankful for how their voices and shenanigans kind of kept me sane back then. No money for therapists, but I haven't acted on my thoughts lately, so I guess I am relatively fine in this twilight zone. Just needed to say it out loud, type it out. Because I know all this is a stretch for K-pop confession, but just wanted to talk about it, even though no one else sees it. I am happy to have shared it with Eldrick. Loves ya. Bye. Yeah, so I usually don't want to have such personal confessions, but since this person wanted to talk about it, I'll let it be. And like, yeah, I don't know what incident you had, you don't have to share it, but certain times in life, things get tough. Certain times in life, things get depressing and upsetting, and you don't want to move on. And every day just feels like a challenge. Waking up feels like a challenge. But, like, at the end of the day, the sun will set and the sun will rise again. And yes, you can get that to stop, but it's not going to benefit you. It's not going to benefit anyone. You're all here for a reason, all right? All our lives matter, no matter what. And like, it may feel like our lives don't matter because we're just on a moving ball of rock in a giant universe in space. Like, why does it all matter? It's because we have our emotions. We all have our feelings, and we all have this life given to us, and we might as well make the best of it. Like, we can't control our emotions, we only control how we react to it. And there are times where, like, yeah, I get really upset, I get really angry, I just get so anxious, but at the end of the day, I know that time will pass, things will move on, and, you know, new things will come. And I have things that will make me happy and things that will cheer me up. But at the end of the day, the only thing that can make me truly stable and happy is myself. And I always got to make sure that I'm in the right mindset. I'll be okay. That, like, yeah, right now it sucks. It's awful. It's upsetting. But I just know time will move on. It will all be okay. There's a time in life when I was happy. There's a time in life I was okay. I know that time will come again. And I know, I guess for you, this has been going on for quite some time. I'm guessing, like, what, 6 years since 2019. And yeah, it may seem like a long time, but listen, time, it will take time. Time will heal itself. You'll be okay. There will be people there for you. You may not feel like it, but there are. You know, everyone matters, no matter what. It doesn't matter whether you are with so many people or you're alone. You matter. You are in this world for a reason. You'll be okay. Just keep going on what you want to go for, anything that makes you happy, anything that you're passionate about. And if there's not then you have nothing to lose. Have fun in life. That's all it is, and everything will be okay. Don't be so reliant on BTS for your happiness and to cheer you up, because that's not healthy, admittedly. But try new things, try different things, because if you truly feel like there's nothing and you feel hopeless, then you got nothing to lose and nothing to hope for, so might as well try something new and see what it's like. Just go for it. Not trying to be a hater, but the new HYBE Global Girl is set up for failure. Personally, I support the girls getting a second chance, except Samara. HYBE knows what they are doing and they're not clueless. This is just one of the money-grabbing strategies. Debuting another global girl group, especially Dream Academy girls that almost made it into the group after Cat's Eye just debuted last year, is risky because Cat's Eye gained a lot of fans and most of the fans will compare. That's reality. I already see comments like Cat's Eye leftovers and all of that. Putting Samara in the group is like not wanting the success of the group at all. Samara did a lot of wrong things that she's not owning up to and apologizing for, but that doesn't mean people should wish her death. I just don't like her for her wrongdoings, and that stays there. I don't go online and wish for her to kill herself. That's wrong, and people can just avoid anything related to her. I'm not going to boycott the group because of her, because the others really didn't do anything wrong. When HYBE debut a girl group, they tend to debut another group like that. Because, like, remember in 2022 when HYBE debuted LE SSERAFIM, and then pretty much immediately after they debuted New Jeans. And like, yeah, when LE SSERAFIM debuted, there were 6 of them, and New Jeans there was 5. But like, they gave off the same vibe, and they were pretty much sister groups, and people were like, oh, okay, they're pretty different. And then LE SSERAFIM became 5 members, and everyone's like, oh, okay, they're like, HYBE have 2 5-member girl groups. But then they were like, okay, don't worry, we're gonna have IE 6 members. Then Youngsa went on to be an all-day project, and now they're 5 members. And then TXT is not underrated, but they're underappreciated. Yes, they are. Read my mind there. Okay, so basically there's this community on a site called Scratch. I don't know if you know it, which is coding website, but also kind of social media. The community is also called S-pop, and it's basically a roleplay K-pop. They basically have editions where you fill in a form in the comments and post an audio of you singing in company accounts, choose people, and make line distributions from K-pop songs. Although there seems to be a rise in OG songs recently, and then they put the lines together and make a release. There are also like news channels and music shows and surveys and S-tubers like K-tubers, but most of them don't last long. Also, almost every idol is a self-made soloist, so they don't really join a company. Honestly, it's a long time since it was first made, and it changed a lot. I first joined in 2024. I'm an S-pop idol, and now there's a lot of drama. Like, there's a lot of impersonators and people stealing voices at one point, which caused a bunch of OG idols to leave the community. It's low-key never going to end. Also, you don't have to, since this isn't usually done in your KPOP Opinions videos, but please look at these to see the quality of the vocals and stuff in this roleplay community. Okay, I just had to listen to one of them, and I'm not gonna play it because like I'm scared of copyright. But I get it. I get the appeal. So basically, controversy was a bunch of people kept talking about how they were literal children, showing their face online, and there was a bunch of backlash. Also, another group copied the IRL lookalike idea, and eventually they just changed it to Sapito. Okay, but I love you and your channel. S-pop, the future of, I don't know. So basically, when I started liking K-pop because of BTS, which was in 2022, I used to dance to those K-pop concert effect things and pretend I was the 5th member of Blackpink, and I was performing in front of them, and every member had a dating rumor with me because of the way they looked at me. I was the main dancer, main vocalist, main rapper, visual, center, face of the group, and most popular bias member. Yeah, okay. Out of all the confessions, and out of all my comments, and out of my entire community, this person is 100% out of all the K-pop stans, the most delusional.